From the information we got through the Castorice Special Program 3.2, it seems that we will get a pretty interesting surprise from Hoyoverse. Namely, we will get one golden companion spirit for free that we can exchange for RUAN or LUOCHA. Of course, this surprise makes it difficult for many of us, especially new players, to choose between the two characters that can be taken in the upcoming version 3.2 through the Golden Companion Spirit. On the one hand, RUAN is a character who has performed very well to date, while LUOCHA is also a character who is predicted to be the one of the units that will rise due to the emergence of a new meta team that can burn HP, like Mighty and Castorice. So I'm Hoyostation, and in this video we will go into detail about these two characters and which one is worth picking up in version 3.2. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough Stellar Jades? Here is a smaller way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Castorice. Look no further than LUOCHA. LUOCHA is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 3,000 Stellar Jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Okay, without further ado, we will begin our first discussion on RUAN. RUAN is an Ice-type character with the Harmony Path that was released a long time ago in version 1.6. Even though it has been a character for a long time, RUAN is still reliable today because there are still teams that use RUAN as the main support in the team, especially for the Break team with Rappa, Firefly, and Boothill as the main DPS. Besides being a support character for the Break team, RUAN herself is a very universal support character, where her buff can increase the damage percentage and resistant penetration for all teammates, which can be used by many DPS characters to be able to provide better damage output. One of the best kits RUAN has is the skill called String Syncs Slow Swirls. This skill provides an overtone buff that lasts for 3 turns. While having overtone, all teammates' damage increases by 32% and their weakness break efficiency also increases by 50%. One of the advantages of why this skill is so good is that first, it's a SP positive skill, meaning that during this time, RUAN only needs to use basic attack, which is useful for filling up skill points that can be used by other characters. Second, the increased damage from this buff can be used by almost any characters. This makes the effect of this skill very universal, guys. And third, the weakness break efficiency effect on this skill is a super rare buff, as only RUAN currently has this effect from her skill. Keep in mind that with this effect, we can give more toughness reduction to the enemy. So this effect is very useful for Break DPS because they can give weakness break to the enemy faster to deal more damage, namely Super Break. Next, we move on to another interesting part of RUAN's kit, which is her ultimate named Petals to Stream Repose in Dream. This ultimate will create a field effect for 2 turns in battle. While this field effect is active, all teammates gain 25% additional resistant penetration for all element types. In addition, teammates' attacks within the field will give Thanatoplum Rebloom to the enemies they attack, where this effect will extend the weakness break status on the enemy and delay their actions by 20% of RUAN's break effect plus 10%. Same with her skills, the ultimate effect of RUAN can provide very good benefits for the team in general, not just focusing on the Break team. This is because there's a 25% resistant penetration effect that can penetrate the resistance possessed by the enemy, so that the damage output we produce will be even greater, no matter what type of character we use. Apart from the 2 interesting kits she also has another interesting ability that we must discuss, named Somatotypical Helix, which will increase 10% speed for all teammates except RUAN. And every time a teammate gives a weakness break to the enemy, RUAN gives break damage equal to 120% of her ice break damage. Of course, this speed increase buff is very useful for characters in general, because as we know, most characters in this game do need a lot of speed points to maximize their potential. The more speed points a character has, the faster they will get their turn in battle. In other words, it will produce better damage output. Okay, now with that we've covered the key points of RUAN Mei's kit, let's talk about the most important part of this video, which is the add-on 1 and 2. Why? Because of course I'm sure some of us already have RUAN Mei add-on 0 at this time, so we can use this as a basis to be able to decide whether to take her add-on 1 or take other character, or maybe for future characters available. First, we will discuss the effect of her add-on 1 named Neuronic Embroidery. When the ultimate field is created, the damage caused by ultimates will ignore 20% of the enemy target's defense. For me personally, this effect is super good because it will automatically increase the damage output of ultimates when attacking enemies when RUAN Mei's ultimate field is active. The effect of add-on 1 is very good to take because it can increase the damage output of almost all existing characters. And also, if we refer to the data from PriteWindow.gg, by having add-on 1, it will cut the number of cycles we use on MOC by 2 cycles. Or in other words, it will get an increase of about 20%. Pretty interesting, right? Next for add-on 2, which is named Red Side Promenade. If RUAN Mei is in battle, it will increase the attack of ultimates by 40% when giving damage to enemies with weakness break status. This effect is certainly no less good than add-on 1, especially for characters who have attack scaling. But of course, the effect of this add-on will not really work if you pair this character with characters that do not have attack scaling, such as Mighty and Castorice. Then the question is whether this character is worth taking if you don't have RUAN Mei before. According to me personally, the answer is certainly very worth it. Because as I explained earlier, her buff is very universal and is used by many team compositions even with add-on 0. You don't have to have a break team to use RUAN Mei. Pairing RUAN Mei with other teams also has benefits due to her very wide buff range. In addition, taken from the data on PriteWindow.gg itself, RUAN Mei is still a character with a high usage rate at around 50% for MOC, 44% for Pure Fiction, and 39% for Apocalyptic Shadow. This figure is still quite large for a character released in the early version of this game. Okay, now we will move on to discussing the next character kit that we can take for free in the upcoming version 3.2, namely LUOCHA. LUOCHA is an imaginary type character with Abundance Path who has also released in version 1, precisely in version 1.1. At the beginning of his release, he was one of the best healers of his time where he could provide emergency heal and lifesteal effect from his circle of healing which no character had at that time. In addition, he can provide heal without having to use skills continuously, which makes him a skill point generator for teammates who need skill points to launch attacks. Okay, we will start with the main kits that makes this character very worth taking, namely his talent named Cycle of Life. When he uses his skill or ultimate, he will get 1 stack of Abyss Flower, and after reaching 2 stacks, he will create a field. If the enemy inside of the field is attacked by a teammate, the attacking teammate will get an HP recovery of up to 18% of LUOCHA's attack plus 240 points. Honestly, the thing that is quite different from LUOCHA from most healers today is that LUOCHA's scaling scales with attack, not HP. The greater the attack he has, the greater the amount of heal he can provide. So, in addition to the attack status being useful for determining the amount of heal he provides, a high attack status is also useful for being able to provide damage output that is enough to help the team attack the enemy. The effect of Abyss Flower allows teammates to attack without having to worry about attacks from the enemy because the heal effect of Cycle of Healing will continue to provide heal to our team members as long as the character attacks the enemy. And of course, the effect of this talent becomes better if we combine it with a team that is currently a meta, which is a team mechanism that can burn HP, such as Mighty and also Castorice. Okay, next we will discuss one of other unique kits, which lies in his skills called Prayer of Abyss Flower, which will heal one teammate by 60% attack from LUOCHA plus 800 points and give 1 stack Abyss Flower. Interestingly, every time a teammate's HP is at a 50% or less, this skill will automatically trigger without using skill points and is considered an additional action. This emergency heal has the same function as normal skill use, which will also provide Abyss Flower stack and provide the same amount of energy, which is 30 energy. With the passive emergency heal from this skill, LUOCHA can manage the use of skill points more economically because each ultimate and skill gives 1 stack Abyss Flower which can create field easily. And teammates who lose HP by half or more will be immediately given heal with the passive of the skill. This allows LUOCHA to freely launch basic attack to fill skill points and provide toughness damage if the enemy has an imaginary weakness. Oh yeah, don't forget we will also discuss his ultimate, named Death Wish. This ultimate will give imaginary damage of 200% of LUOCHA's attack to all enemies. Besides being able to deal damage to enemies, the effect of this ultimate can remove buffs from all enemies affected by this ultimate. Of course, this buff removal will be very useful if used against enemies who can buff themselves, such as Shapeshifter who can get the lifesteal buff. Besides being able to remove enemy buffs, through this ultimate we will also get 1 stack of Abyss Flower which is useful for activating fields that can provide heal automatically to team members. Interesting, right? Next we will discuss the last part of this video, namely LUOCHA's Add-on 1 section. Just like before, of course at this time there are some of us who already have LUOCHA and may want to upgrade their abilities to Add-on 1 or Add-on 2. First, for Add-on 1 called Ablution of the Quick. When field is active, the attack of all teammates will increase by 20%. This effect is good for DPS with attack scaling and will not affect other DPS that do not have scaling against attack. For now, as I said earlier, LUOCHA is starting to be used for Mighty and Castorice teams where they are DPS who have HP scaling that will not benefit from this add-on. Of course, with the use that does not match the current meta, I don't really recommend taking this add-on in the upcoming version 3.2, because the effect is quite situational where the DPS used must have scaling against attack, while LUOCHA itself began to be used in Mighty and Castorice teams that have scaling against HP. Then what about his add-on 2? The effect of LUOCHA's add-on 2 I still don't recommend taking because the effect will only increase outgoing healing by 30% if the person receiving heal from the skill has HP below 50%, and will provide a shield if the person receiving heal from the skill has HP above 50%, which at this time this effect cannot utilized properly. Indeed, for now, LUOCHA itself cannot compete in general with other sustains such as LUOCHA, Aventurine, Huohuo, and even Aglaea, which are 4-star characters. Because in addition to the sustain offering a more unique kit, the sustain is also useful for use on the current meta team. Taken from the data on PrideWindow.gg, LUOCHA is a character with a very low usage rate at around 11% for MOC, 8% for Pure Fiction, and 10% for Apocalyptic Shadow, where this number is quite small when compared to similar sustain like Aglaea. Even so, this does not rule out the possibility for you to take if you plan to make a Castorice or Mighty team but are not interested in taking Hyacine, which is rumored to be the dedicated sustain for that team. Okay guys, maybe that's all for this video. What do you think about these 2 characters? Who will you take for free later in the upcoming version 3.2? Please type in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out my other videos because they are no less cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.